Everybody, Image here, and I'm just going to be recording a brief introduction to this next game that is Savior versus Nalra on Destination from Day 4 of the E-Stars Seoul Heritage League. I dual-casted this with Weapons Left, and we had a long preamble to the game that didn't really seem to fit very well with the video, so I'm just recording this brief introduction. Savior versus Nalra, as you might know, is one of the most heated, well, not heated, but one of the biggest and most intense rivalries of all of Pro StarCraft, rivaling Boxer versus Yellow, I think. And this is a continuation of their Holy War series. If you haven't seen the Holy War game, which was Savior versus Nalra on Shin Peaks of Beidou, Google that up and watch it. It is a fantastic game, absolutely epic, 45-minute long Zerg versus Protoss on a very well-balanced Zerg versus Protoss map, ending with crazy elimination race goodness. You do not want to miss this game. Go and see it. That'll fill you in as far as you need to know on context for this game. That'll show you why this rivalry is the way it is. I'm going to now turn it over to myself and Weapons Left live dual casting this. I hope you enjoy. 3, 2, 1, go. How are you on sync there?
I'm right on.
Sweet.
So that is good times. But yeah, I mean, and I'm based upon that. I'm just curious. There actually a lot of the strategies that have been used to counter Protoss early on have been double expand 3-base style strategies, teching into 5-hatch, which I think is really a Savior-esque style build, and I'm curious to see if that's what Savior's going to adopt here, and if it's going to be necessary for him to adopt it, or if Nalra is going to go some direction that we just don't anticipate, which is entirely possible because, yeah, he's Nalra.
Yeah, let's not forget that Nalra was one of the Protoss players that pioneered the Forge Fast expansion, so in a way, we might see both of these players playing to their signature styles. We're playing on Destination, by the way. That is our map. It's a very well-balanced Zerg versus Protoss map. It's, is it 23 for Zerg, 24 for Protoss, was it?
Yeah, something along those lines, 49.45%, extremely easy. And there's that pylon in advanced position.
So it is going to be the Forge Fast expand most likely, and that's A-okay. We have Nalra, by the way. He is the red Protoss at the 11 o'clock position, and Savior is the yellow Zerg at the 5, and it looks to me like that is a 9 pool for Savior, so we're going to be seeing some early aggression here.
Yep, getting that pool down, and Nalra obviously intent on getting his information, getting some scouting done. It looks like he is going to get that probe in there, and obviously there's just not a whole lot that you're going to be able to do without a probe early on in the game. I'd have to say that the probe has to be one of the most annoying units in all of StarCraft, because it is so incredibly powerful early on as a scouting unit. You see players, really skilled Protoss players, are just able to keep their probes alive for so long, and it's just incredibly ridiculous as playing any other race trying to get that thing out of your.
Yeah, Bisu is obviously one of the masters of keeping those probes alive, and a little bit of a probe harassment to delay that that second hatchery slightly.
Yeah, Savior actually doing a pretty good job of microing there, to go ahead and get that expansion down relatively quickly without suffering too long from that harassment.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think here that we are going to see that that 3-hatch start, just because Savior hasn't taken his gas yet, so he's not committing to a 9-pool speed run by or anything like that. So I believe we are going to see some pretty some modern day standard play from him. There's always the possibility that we could see something like 3-hatch Mutalisks, but I don't know if that's what he's going to go for.
Yeah, I mean, I feel as though, when you go into that 3-hatch style, that you can start compiling the gas a little bit later on, and really do a lot of damage with lurkers later on in the mid game, and I think that's probably a little more likely. But we do have some Lings out here, and they're out of range of that first cannon, and they are going to be able to do a lot of damage to this Nexus, and there is no offensive unit on the field for Nalra to be able to combat this, and until that additional cannon gets up, these Zerglings are going to have at it. I'm really going to cause some really some severe damage to this Nexus. It's a lot of harassment.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a bit of a clumsy move from Nara, and I think it's maybe the first really kind of grievous mistake that I've seen from him, leaving that Nexus exposed.
Indeed.
The first Zealot should be out shortly, and that second cannon should morph in, but that's definitely a deficit that that Nalra is at. He's lost some probes, and against Savior, you don't want to suffer any early game losses.
Yeah, absolutely not. And that was the third hatchery going down for Savior, so he is indeed going to that third base. We're going to see basically if now that's secure, Nalra's got a pretty solid SimCity going that's going to be able to prevent any real ground-based attacks early on in this game. Whether or not that's going to be enough time, or buy him enough time to go ahead and advance up the tech tree and get some damage done with some harass.
Absolutely. I'm beginning to think that just because of the early damage at the front there, that an early 3 or 4 hatch Hydra rush could be an option, though we're not going to see that with the layer going up, just because that Nexus has been so softened up. Savior might be able to rush Hydralisks and go for a snipe, but it doesn't look like that's the direction that he's going to go with this. Meanwhile, second gas is going up for Nalra over at his expansion, and the Stargate in the base. We'll keep an eye out for the Citadel coming up, because that should be not long either.
Yeah, indeed. If he is in fact opting for that CRDT, and here we go again. Yet again, Savior picking away at the exposed portions of the space. A Zealot is out on the map though, and he's going to be able to chase off these wings. We'll get to see a little bit of a micro war here, but this is similar to might go down. Actually, I think this similar definitely is going to go down, and these Zerglings are causing all kinds of harm early on in this game, and this has got to be frustrating for Nalra.
This definitely has to be frustrating for Nalra, and aside from that, it's throwing off all of his timings. He should, have just been mining gas, and now he has to wait another, 40 seconds for that assimilator to warp in again. Meanwhile, the additional hatcheries are going up for Savior, as well as the Hydralisk Den, probably an evolution chamber somewhere as well. So, and the Spire is just finishing. So it's the standard play. It's the standard modern play for Savior, and I think that the Templar archive for Nalra has been delayed a little bit due to losing that gas.
Yeah, he's throwing it down now, but I'd have to agree that he's certainly not in the position with his resources that he would have liked to have been at this point. Having to expend a few more minerals than he probably needed to with cannons, if his cannons were properly placed, and it's just going to delay everything for him. And I think that's honestly the whole weakness of the build that Savior is currently adopting, is that you're unit light for a fairly decent portion of the game. But Nalra's not going to be able to take advantage of that, and looks like he's going to get that Corsair out of there right in the nick of time as the Scourge is in hot pursuit.
Yeah, that's basically it. We saw, for example, when Jaedong went for this strategy, this 3-hatch Spire into 5-hatch Hydra strategy against Movie demonstrated that there's a timing window to attack the Zerg when they're weak on units with his unbelievable Dragoon Rush. The thing is, with standard Protoss fast expand play, while the Zerg is light on units, the Protoss is too, and neither player is really able to take any advantage of it. And with this 3-hatch Spire into 5-hatch Hydra's build, the Zergs do seem to be getting the better of it once the units are out on the map.